mama proud.
The movie starts, and we see a happy family gathered together inside their home. A mother is celebrating a birthday with her 3 sons and their grandfather. Today is the birthday of the youngest son, whose name is Jed. His mother carries a cake out in front of him and everyone smiles. But then something deeply disturbing is revealed. Sitting in the corner of the room, tied up and helpless, is a stranger. The family has been holding this man captive because the mother claims he came to steal their goats and animals. On Jed's birthday, his gift is revealed. He is given a chainsaw. The entire room goes tense with excitement. Everyone in the family, including the parents and the grandfather, are thrilled and eager. Jed's brother immediately starts the chainsaw and shouts at Jed to hurry up and use it on the man. But Jed is still an innocent child at heart. He picks up the chainsaw, looks at the terrified man in front of him, and cannot bring himself to do it. He drops the chainsaw and steps back. His mother is furious. She asks him what is wrong with him and reminds him that his grandfather was one of the most skilled killers anyone had ever seen. The grandfather, even in his old age, has never lost his taste for violence. Hearing that Jed refused, he stands up and says he will handle it himself since it will make him happy anyway. He picks up a large hammer and drives it down onto the man's neck with full force, killing him in one of the most brutal and painful ways imaginable. The scene then shifts to the present day. We see a young couple driving down a road together, happy and relaxed, heading somewhere without a care in the world. Suddenly, something appears in the headlights in the middle of the road, and the driver slams the brakes. They look closer and realize it is not an animal at all. It is a child wearing a cow face mask. The child looks at them and says he needs their help. Before they can respond, he turns and disappears into the trees. The wife is genuinely unsettled. She tells her husband that something is very wrong about this, and she needs to go check on that child. Her husband tries to stop her, warning her that it could be dangerous. But she ignores him and follows the child into the jungle alone. She chases the child until she finds herself walking into an old abandoned farm. Inside, she looks around and sees bones scattered everywhere across the floor. Before she can process what she is looking at, the ground gives way beneath her and she falls straight down into a trap below. She hits the ground hard and is severely injured. Blood is coming from her nose, her mouth, and multiple wounds across her body. Then the child appears above her, removes his cow mask, and we see that it is Jed. His family had sent him to be trained by a gangster who taught him how to kill. His trainer looks down at the injured woman and instructs Jed to drop a car engine on top of her. Jed does exactly that, and she is killed in an extremely brutal way. Just then, the local sheriff arrives at the property. He is shaking with rage. He tells them that the woman they just killed was his own daughter. He swears he will not let them get away with this. But the sheriff has no warrant and no hard evidence linking them to the murder, because Jed and his trainer had already destroyed every trace of what happened. Still, the sheriff has enough authority to take Jed in for questioning. He brings the boy with him, and because the sheriff is genuinely a decent man despite his grief, he does not harm Jed. Instead, he places him in a mental health school, believing that with the right treatment and environment, the boy can leave behind the criminal mindset his family raised him with and become someone good. After doing this, the sheriff goes straight to Jed's mother and tells her plainly that her son is never coming back because of what her family did to his daughter. Then he walks away. 10 years pass. We are shown the same mental health school where Jed was placed. A young nurse named Lizzie arrives for her very first day working there. A staff member explains to Lizzie that every child admitted to this school has their name changed immediately upon arrival. This is done so they forget their connection to their criminal families and begin building a completely new identity. Lizzie notices a heavyset quiet boy sitting alone and goes to sit near him. The boy completely ignores her. Another patient nearby tells her that this boy almost never speaks. Something about his quietness feels familiar, and it begins to feel likely that this silent boy is Jed, now grown and renamed. Shortly after, Lizzie witnesses some of the children getting into a fight. She steps in to try to break it up. One of the children immediately turns his aggression toward her, but the quiet heavyset boy appears and steps in to protect Lizzie without a word. The senior doctor on duty arrives and tells Lizzie that the 2 children who were fighting will be taken for treatment. Lizzie defends the boy who helped her, telling the doctor that the boy called Bird did nothing wrong and was only protecting her. The doctor tells her coldly that she does not know what she is looking at. He tells her that Bird brutally killed his own family members over something as simple as them taking his dog away from him, and that from that moment on, he became one of the most dangerous patients in the facility. He says the therapy there will handle it. After the doctor leaves, Bird's friend pulls Lizzie aside quietly and tells her not to believe a word the doctor says. He explains that the doctors do not actually run therapy here. They torture the children under the label of therapy and enjoy doing it. He begs Lizzie to help Bird before the session begins. Meanwhile, Jed's mother has arrived at the school. She is now extremely wealthy and has a court order granting her visitation rights to see her son whenever she chooses. She tells the senior doctor she is there to see Jed, but the doctor tells her that all children admitted here have their names changed and that there is no Jed in this facility. If she wants to find him, she will need to go through a separate court process. This is entirely a performance on the doctor's part. He knows exactly who Jed is, and he simply does not want these children reunited with their families. He enjoys having power over them and genuinely believes that children from criminal families cannot be saved and deserve to suffer. Inside the facility, Bird is already being subjected to brutal treatment. When Jed's mother witnesses this happening through a window, something snaps in her. She attacks a nurse nearby, beats her until she can take the keys, and then throws open the doors and frees all the patients inside the building. Every child begins running toward the exits. The senior doctor orders Jed's mother removed from the premises, but Bird is already free and moving through the hallways in a rage. He attacks every guard he encounters with savage force. The boy who had been fighting with Bird's friend earlier begs Bird to free him too. Something human surfaces briefly in Bird and he releases him. Then Bird finds the senior doctor. He grabs him and slams his head into the window glass repeatedly until the man is dead. Lizzie, having witnessed all of this, is completely terrified. She grabs another nurse and the two of them run down into the basement to hide, but their luck runs out immediately. A violent patient finds them there and cuts the other nurse's throat right in front of Lizzie. Lizzie is frozen in shock. The same child turns toward her. Just as he is about to attack, Bird's friend appears and saves her, overpowering the child and killing him. He pulls Lizzie out of the basement and to the outside of the building. But outside, the aggressive boy from earlier is there waiting with his strange and constantly irritable female companion. The two of them subdue Bird's friend and force everyone into a car. Then the aggressive boy spots Bird and forces him in as well. Once they are all in the vehicle, the aggressive boy tells them that his parents are extremely wealthy and live in another country, and that he has been trying to get there for a long time. He offers to take everyone with him, but he makes one thing very clear. If anyone tries to run or contact the police, he will kill them without hesitation. Bird and his friend have never known anything outside the mental school. They have no family, no past they can remember, and no place to go. The idea of seeing what a real family looks like stirs something inside both of them. They agree to go along. Lizzie, with no real choice, goes along too. Meanwhile, the sheriff has found out what happened at the facility. He immediately puts every officer he has on the search. He now knows for certain that Jed, the boy he put away a decade ago, is somewhere in this group. He gets on the phone with one of his officers and gives a direct order. Wherever you find Jed, shoot him on sight. Do not bring him in. Kill him. Jed's mother, who is in contact with one of the sheriff's officers, overhears this order. The group of 5 children drive down the road together when hunger stops them. They pull over at a roadside restaurant to eat. The aggressive boy and his companion immediately take control of the situation, stealing weapons from the staff and demanding money at gunpoint. Then the aggressive boy shoots the waitress in cold blood. Lizzie sees her chance in the chaos and tries to run, but Bird moves to stop her and pleads with her not to go anywhere. The group steals a car and gets back on the road. During the commotion at the restaurant, a stray bullet catches Bird in the stomach. After driving for a while, the fuel runs out completely. The 5 of them continue on foot through a stretch of jungle. They come across an old abandoned container that looks like a trailer and step inside. There is a rotting dead body inside, but they have nowhere else to go. They settle in for the night. Lizzie begins cleaning and tending to Bird's wound. The aggressive boy pulls Bird aside and tells him to watch Lizzie and his female companion and alert him immediately if either of them tries to escape. But deep in the night, when the darkness is at its thickest, Lizzie sees her moment and slips away. The aggressive boy spots her instantly. He catches her and reminds her that he warned her what would happen. He begins trying to force himself on her, but at the exact right moment, Bird's friend arrives and pulls him off her. He beats the aggressive boy hard and turns to Bird, angry, telling him he told him to watch her and he failed. Bird does not take this well at all. Something boils over in him. He grabs the aggressive boy himself, drags him forward, and crushes his skull without a second of hesitation. He is dead. When morning comes, the aggressive boy's female companion realizes he is gone and goes looking for him. While she is away, Lizzie and Bird's friend see their chance. Bird's friend acknowledges it is the perfect time to escape, but he tells Lizzie he cannot leave Bird behind no matter what. Bird is his friend and that is the end of it. He goes back to find him. The irritable girl is not as lucky. She is found by the sheriff's unit. The sheriff beats and tortures her, demanding to know where the others went. She tells him she genuinely does not know and calls him out for what he is, a man who has lost his mind over his daughter's death and is now terrorizing children as a result. The sheriff pulls out his gun and shoots her dead on the spot. Lizzie and Bird's friend see this happen from a distance. Bird's friend tells Lizzie they need to stay as far from these officers as possible or they will be shot too. The police deploy tracking dogs to sweep the area, knowing the remaining group cannot be far. When Lizzie and Bird's friend hear the dogs closing in, they run. Along the road, they find the decomposing body of a cow being eaten by insects. Knowing they are out of time, all three of them climb inside the carcass and hold still. The dogs pass directly over them and cannot detect any human scent through the overpowering smell of decay. The police move on. The three of them crawl out and continue running. They reach a road and spot a police vehicle. Lizzie believes it might be a different unit with no connection to the corrupt sheriff and begins calling out for help. Bird's friend pulls her back immediately, telling her she has lost her mind and that these are the same officers. He is right. The officer immediately calls the sheriff. Bird moves from behind, gets his hands around the officer's throat and begins choking him. The officer manages to raise his gun and shoots Bird directly in the head. Bird dies instantly. Bird's friend watches his closest companion die in front of him and breaks down in fury. He attacks the officer with everything he has and beats him to death right there. Lizzie, watching all of this unfold, feels the ground collapsing beneath her sanity. She grabs the police car and drives away as fast as she can. Bird's friend screams at her, calling her a traitor, saying that because of her, his best friend is dead. His grief turns to rage and his physical state is deteriorating fast. The sheriff is in pursuit, firing continuously. A bullet tears through Bird's friend's face, completely disfiguring him. Another bullet strikes Lizzie's hand. She loses control of the wheel and the car crashes violently into a ravine. Lizzie loses consciousness. When she opens her eyes, she is in the sheriff's car. She reaches for the radio and frantically tries to contact anyone who can get her location. But the sheriff arrives and drags her out. He brings her to the same abandoned farm where his daughter was killed 10 years ago. Hanging there, barely conscious, is Bird's friend. The sheriff tells Lizzie the truth. Jed was never Bird. Jed is Bird's friend, the quiet boy who protected her all this time. And now Jed's mother knows where he is. One of the sheriff's own compromised officers told her. She arrives with a chainsaw in her hands, the same type of chainsaw that was gifted to Jed on his birthday all those years ago. She attacks the sheriff, and after a brutal and vicious struggle, she manages to free Jed and bring him home. She stitches up his wounds herself. They bring the sheriff and Lizzie with them as prisoners. When both of them regain consciousness, they immediately begin looking for a way to escape. But Jed's mother catches them both before they can move. She calls Jed over and places the chainsaw in his hands. She tells him the time has finally come to use his gift. She says that everyone who tortured him and hurt him is right in front of him, and all he has to do is take what is his. Jed is completely broken. Everything that was done to him across a decade of abuse and violence has left nothing gentle behind. He takes the chainsaw, drives it deep into the sheriff's chest, and tears through him in one of the most brutal and painful ways imaginable. The sound of it makes Lizzie bolt for the door in absolute terror. Jed's mother turns to her three sons and orders them to chase her down. Lizzie runs as fast as she can, but her foot catches in a hidden trap and she crashes to the ground. She looks up at Jed and begs him to remember who he is underneath all of this. She tells him that his mother made him this way, that he is a good person and does not have to do this. She tells him not to kill her, but Jed is no longer the child who once dropped the chainsaw on his birthday and walked away. He starts the saw and in one movement separates Lizzie's head from her body. After this, every body at the farm is ground up and fed to the family's animals. And in the final scene of the film, Jed carefully removes the skin from Lizzie's face and shapes it into a mask. He calls it Leatherface. He pulls it over his own face and stares forward. And with that, this story comes to its end. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button right now and subscribe so you never miss our movie recaps. Drop a comment below saying next movie and we will cover it for you next. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.